Good morning, everyone. So, if many of you have been following along on my journey, then you know how much Tantra has meant to me. And like from the moment that I walked into my first Tantra class, I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. And it's the path of yes. And I've just recently I've been hearing for the past year about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrency, but I didn't make any correlation. There was still like the glazed look would come over my eyes, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? And I've just recently discovered the beautiful connection between the two. And so Tantra is all about living your life infinitely. It's like there's infinite possibilities in every breath, in every moment. You have the ability to find your yes path. And it's right there. It's in that breath. And in cryptocurrency, then there's this space of infiniteness. And so instead of all of the mythology, all of the things that we placed around money, around stocks and bonds, around all that, I was afraid of putting my money into banks, about doing any of that stuff, all of a sudden there's this new option of this is just like Tantra. Like there's this whole space of where anything's possible. So what am I afraid of? Nothing. So I'm super pleased and excited to have Lawrence Lanoff here, because luckily he took me by the hand, and yesterday I bought my very first cryptocurrency, and I'm so excited. So Lawrence, what do you think the different, or what are the similarities between Tantra and crypto?
Wow. I mean, so you also know I've been in, like, Tantra has been my life for a long time. And I've always wanted to be playing in something that reflects my experience in energy, right? Because my experience in energy is it's infinite. And so, you know, the challenge we have with the system of money we inherited is that it's finite. It's very like, you know, there's only so much and you have to get as much as you can. And there's this kind of sense of finiteness and desperation. So that doesn't really fit well with a tantric lifestyle, because you know, it's like there's always this kind of leash around our neck. So I have been in crypto like 2011. I met somebody who started talking to me about it, and I didn't totally get it until around 2015, where I really began to like understand at a very deep level what this revolution was. And the beautiful thing about this revolution is, in the same way that Tantra is really about gifting energy and ideas and sharing and helping and, you know, taking people by the hand and helping them learn to live in pleasure and freedom, it turns out that there is this revolution in currency, in value, which is doing the same thing. But most people don't know anything about it. You know, they hear the big, it's like, you know, the movie, like, did you see the big summer blockbuster? You know, and everybody's like, whoa, Bitcoin. But really, Bitcoin is kind of hiding this energetic revolution in money.
And so Lawrence has helped start peeling away these layers for me. And so I went from having that glazed look in my eye of, oh, it's just another scheme, it's another whatever. It's nothing like anything else out there except for maybe Tantra. Like these different things that are working for you. Like it was so easy once I actually sat down with Lawrence to like make that jump as to, wow, you know, that generosity of spirit and that place where we're all uplifting each other in spirituality or in Tantra or in sexuality or whatever, like, I don't know, however you live your life, and the ways that each of us, as we get to start living our life on our own terms, then we're each figuring it out every day of like, ooh, if I don't have to live like my parents or like society's told us I have to live, what's really possible? And I hear those stories every single day, and like I'm a living example of, if I don't have to do and be in that box that I was told you have to do this and everything else outside of that's wrong, which I was everything outside of that box. And so then as Lawrence starts talking about cryptocurrency and like diving into this different type of exchange of where money can go and what this kind of economy can look like, I'm like, wow, like I really, really want to look at this. And then the glazed look left, and I'm like, let's go get started right now. And so even inside of me, there's all this feeling. And like, to be totally transparent with all of you, like I really didn't want to deal with banks. I haven't wanted to at all. You have credit cards. I haven't had them for years. I keep my money in a space that I feel like is safe, which was not banks. And so it's really creating this other space inside of me of, wow, I can, if there's a place that helps me feel as good in my body around money and what money represents, as it does around sexuality, that Tantra helps really create that feeling good space. I want more of that.
And that is why we were talking to you, because, you know, for me, my experience is the cryptocurrency community, and specifically the Ethereum community, but many of the communities are very there's like this generosity of spirit, like because there's a big barrier to entry for normal people to get in, and it's those of us that are living, you know, that are thinking differently, thinking way outside of the confines of, you know, society and structure and all of the rules and laws that we've been taught, and suddenly we're able to think differently. Well, what would we do? You know, that question you just asked, like, what would you do differently if you didn't have to live the life your parents lived regarding money? And that's really a great question. Like, what would you do? What if it could be different? What if how you think about money, how you think about value and value exchange and currency changes? What would that look like? And here's the beautiful thing about this. This is the thing. A lot of people don't know this. Like, Bitcoin was influenced by Burning Man. And because Burning Man is a decentralized organization, there's no central authority. And there's like a structure of principles. There's like 10 principles of Burning Man. And those 10 principles guide us on how to interact and kind of give us sort of a guidance in terms of how to live, but we're completely free within that very loose, decentralized structure. And I have to say, I was deeply moved at this last Burning Man, because there was a huge tragedy, but the way the group responded without an authoritarian leader, without that person who was like, this is how we do this, and, you know, without centralized authority, order, structure, love, compassion, tenderness, help was all there. And Burning Man is a gift economy, which is entirely different from anything that most people know. And I learned about cryptocurrency at Burning Man. That was the space, and this decentralized gifting economy where generosity itself, the giving itself, is the reward. So by us sharing, like for me, finding cryptocurrency was like, damn, finally something in life, in value exchange, in the holding of value that is as free as I am in my own consciousness. And that's why we decided, let's create a space where we can talk about this, where we can share ideas, because everybody's going to need help getting on board with the way the technology is. And by the time you don't need help to get on board, it's gonna kind of be too late. And we're still, even though, you know, Bitcoin was at $7,000 some today at the time of recording this, you're still early. We're all still early. Like, it's a good time for us to get in and get on this train and play and share and learn.
And the beauty, too, of us being sex workers or sex educators or any type of work in the sex positivity field, then we want some privacy around how we get paid and what that looks like. And the cryptocurrency has a way of doing that that's way beyond anything that any of us could imagine. And you have this deep place of privacy, this deep gift economy, this thing that's outside of all of the structure and all of the things that we've come to deem around money. And yeah, I grew up around so much stories around money, and part of it, that's why I was so scared. And so that's the beauty. And what I love about Burning Man, you know, as Lawrence was talking about it, is my first experience with Burning Man is instant manifestation. Like, all the stories and mythologies and things go away, because in that space anything's possible. So we go riding along with my friends, and they're, ooh, I forgot my sunglasses. Guess what? 2 seconds later, here's a sunglass tree just sitting there, and they got to go pick a sunglasses. There was like 15 pairs of sunglasses just for anybody to take. And it was just like, from bowling alleys to skating rinks to like anything you can imagine, it's all there. And so just imagine that around money, around being able to gift each other, so that there's not someone trying to hoard it, because hoarding doesn't even work with cryptocurrency. It's all about how you share and how you co-create with each other. And so it's you know, it's new. Lawrence is going to teach me more. And so I'm going to build a Facebook group because there's so many people that are getting excited about this that we can just get on each day. And I'll have Lawrence on once a month. I have other guest speakers that are really involved in this field, especially up in Palo Alto, that have been involved in making of the different types of currencies. And so it's a conversation that I'm super excited to get started, and where I was so like, well, that's money stuff, or that's that, or no, this is so tantric, this is so living life on your own terms, which is what I'm so passionate about, is what are the ways that we can be more liberated and more free.
And that's it, and that's why we're here. And I have to say, like, I genuinely have, like, I have as much passion around this because I see what's possible. And frankly, I've been traveling lately. My life has been about traveling the world, kind of just sharing the big idea around cryptocurrency. Like, why? Because once I finally got what the revolution is, you know, making money, like, oh, I bought this stock and it went up in value. This is like penguin poop on the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's awesome, but it has nothing to do with this much, much deeper sharing, gifting, knowledge-based, you win, I win, everybody wins, by us communicating and sharing value and having a voice in the way we spend value, how we spend it, what currencies we play it in, what worlds we play in, how we share, and, as Monique said, privacy, because at the end of the day, regardless, it's nobody's business what you do with your value, with what you do with this exchange value. And that is the beauty of being an adult. That is the beauty of being able to have adult conversations, to be tantric, to choose the way you live and learn and teach and share. And that is why we are here today.
And when we don't have the artificial boundaries or all this mythology or all these stories, then actually anything is possible. And so then we get to all learn that together, and we get to celebrate together, and we get to be this generous. And so the way I want to finish is I just want to share with you that there's been this beautiful space of relaxation that Lawrence has always carried with him. And all of us that know him and love and appreciate him so much, it's one of the pieces of, he gives us these reference points inside of our body. And so even within, from a year ago when I saw you at our intensive, because we just finished this awesome 8-day intensive in New Orleans for extraordinary facilitators, but even from a year ago, then there's so much relaxation because Lawrence found his people.
Yeah.
And so there's this place of, so yeah, I just want to breathe for a minute and just have them feel through the camera of what it feels like. When you're not seeped in the have-tos or trying to figure things out, and you're just open and open and open, and you're like, wow, if it hasn't already been done, then anything's possible. And that's what I'm truly interested in. So if any of this conversation sparked your interest, and then a little bit later today I'm going to be creating that secret Facebook group for us, so that we can, or a closed Facebook group, so all of the things inside of it will be just seen by members. And I'll invite you on, and let's have these conversations, and let's see what's possible around money, around energy, around Tantra, around cryptocurrency. Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye, loves.
everybody.